What's up, YouTube? So, first of all, let me start out by saying this isn't going to be a instructional video. I'm not going to try to teach you guys anything. I've already read the comments. It's like, I know everything, you know nothing. I get it, right? So, with that being said, this video is for three or four people that need help, that want to learn something. The rest of you guys that are fucking amazing and you know everything, cool. So what this video is gonna be, it's gonna be how to learn and or teach math for a new guy that's not super bright. So let's be honest, if you're a big construction company, right, everybody you have is a 20-year veteran, experienced carpenter. But for you small companies, so I'll give you guys a for instance. I work with my brother-in-law. He's a contractor. I subcontract with him. So you can consider me a contractor and a crew leader, whatever the case may be. Point is, we get new guys all the time. Now here's the kicker, right? We do pretty much everything. So when it's me and him, we do a lot of finish work. We do, meticulous actual carpenter work. The bigger jobs, a lot of times we do framing, we do roofing, we do siding, we've done additions, we do all sorts of stuff, right? And when you start taking on new guys, especially when you're a smaller company, the profit margin isn't, you're not going to make $50 million, so you can't hire 50 fucking carpenters, right? So a lot of times we'll hire guys that are just there for basic labor, I guess you would say. And you want to get as much out of these labor. You want to get as much productivity out of these laborers as possible. So a lot of times you end up with a fucking crackhead. You end up with a young kid. You end up with people that aren't really experienced in construction. So I've always been a firm believer that any jigs, any tricks that you can teach these guys in order to make them productive the very first day. So and for you small companies, right? You guys hire a guy, he knows absolutely nothing, you train him for 3 weeks. Just about the time that you're like, oh my God, this guy fucking knows something. He's actually doing something on his own. What happens? He leaves, right? So this is for those guys, the guys that know absolutely nothing. Little tricks that you can teach them where they can just hop right in and be productive. And this is going to be math-wise, like, how to read a tape measure, and then a few little tips and tricks with a tape measure in order to be productive. As far as just reading a tape measure, throughout my videos, I'm going to try to put other stuff to help you with these guys, but this one's going to be specifically for guys that have trouble reading a tape measure. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So this first little tip and or trick, it's going to be how to add or subtract fractions. Some guys just don't know how. So on the job site, what you're going to do is you're going to use your tape measure like this. But for video purposes, I made these two little pieces just so I can show you guys, just so I can hold it and point at the same time. I guess I don't have, all the video equipment to have everything set up perfectly. So if you want to add fractions, you're going to use this as your starting point number and this as the number you want to add, right? So if you want to add a 1/4 inch, you move this number to a 1/4 inch. And then if you want to add, well, let's just say 3/4, then you go up to 3/4, and that would be 1 inch. So 1/4 plus 3/4 equal 1 inch. And if you're doing, let's say, 5/8, if you're adding 5/8 plus a half inch. 5/8 plus a half inch would be 1 inch and an eighth. You know, and you can do that with any number. If you're doing 3/4 plus a half inch. So it'd be 3/4 plus a half inch would be 1 inch and a quarter. Now, if you're trying to subtract, you do it the exact same way, except your first number will be over here, and this number here will be your pointer number, right? So, for instance, if you want to do, I'm trying to line this up. So if you want to do 3/4, can you see that? All right. So if you want to do 3/4, then you jump over here. 3/4 minus a half an inch gives you a 1/4 inch. If you want to do 7/8 minus a half inch, that leaves you with 3/8. It's really pretty simple. So this next trick is pretty easy too, right? So if you look at the board, you can see that the board's 9.5, right? So you can try to do it the long way. Go 9, right? Half of 9 is 4.5 inches. And then, well, it was 9.5, right? So then half inch is a 1/4 inch. And then you do a half plus a 1/4 is 3/4. So then your answer would be 4 3/4, right? So then here would be roughly your center mark, right? Or what you can do is you can hook your tape measure here and then slide over to your nearest even number, which is easier to divide. So then you do 10, which is 5, and that's your halfway mark. Super simple, but for somebody that doesn't want to do all the math or doesn't know how to do it quickly, that's just a super easy trick. And then the last little tip I have isn't really a tip, it's just more of a suggestion. My brother-in-law calls them dummy tapes, but you can get your new guy a tape measure that has, and I don't have any here at home, but you know, each mark, it has the measurement on there. So it'll say 1/16, 1/8, 3/16, and so on and so forth. What I always try to tell guys is, if you just know how to count by threes, right? So you start out, or not count by threes, but count odd numbers, right? So you do 16. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. Go to your eighths, just count your eighths. 1, 3, 5, 7. You know, same with quarters. That's another quick way to just teach a guy how to read his tape measure. You know, a lot of these little things, a lot of these little tips and stuff like that, hopefully it just gets your guy by until he learns the right way. So yeah, I mean, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and just let me know. If you guys have any other questions and or shit you want to hear about, just let me know. All right. God bless.